Hey guys, happy KOTG Tuesday.
What is up?
What's going on?
What's up?
Hey, chat's going live, man. We got lots of people in there. Aloha to Lawn Sauce. I wish I was doing lawn care in Hawaii, that's for sure. You got Harry Lawn in there. I guess he's your Iowa boy there, Nate.
Yeah, first one tonight.
Lawn Sauce is in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lawn Sauce is Hawaii.
That's cool.
Yeah, you see, he sent me those chocolate-covered macadamia nuts straight from the Hawaiian Islands.
Jealous
Sweet.
of that one.
It's sweet. He's got he's got an awesome card.
Sticker swap with him just for that.
Yeah, the card's sweet too. Handmade card and everything. It's super sweet.
That's awesome.
All right, I want to give a special shout out to Papa because he made the coolest hashtag. We're gonna have to maybe use this or steal this one. He says KOTG is hashtag greatest show on turf.
Ooh,
I like it.
I like it.
Show on turf. So thanks, Papa.
The big statement.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying to have a good time and maybe spit some knowledge and learn a little something along the way.
Right. Do what we can. But yeah, so hey guys, welcome. It's the 28th episode of Keep Off the Grass livecast. I'm Brian, or Lawntism, and we've got a special guest with us tonight. Oh, it's Mo time. He won our guest drawing last week, so we're going to hear from him a little later in the show and find out who he is. He's kind of new into the DIY lawn care Instagram game, so we got a name to the face. But before we actually get into the specifics of the show, I see a lot of people are already thirsty. Let's grab our glass.
Yes.
And keep off the grass.
Yeah.
Now, Nate gave us some sad news right before he got on. What was that, Nate?
Yeah, I'm at a Bush Light. So
Oh,
I'll be honest, I can't remember the last time that happened. It might have been like high school.
you're like,
honestly, the
like
last time.
13 or 14
tap
years old,
water?
something like that.
So if
We'll turn on the water faucet. Yeah, no tap water.
The city turned off the water, and you're like, no.
It's all on the lawn, making it look so green. So
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, so if anybody's got an extra bush light, send it Nate's way.
You don't have a beer at all?
No, well, no, I have those apple ones, but I don't want to drink that. So
Come on, man.
I'm not a huge fan of that.
Are you going to run out of your bush? It tastes kind of weird.
I got a drink though.
Come on, man. Do it for the farmers.
Yeah. I realized it like 10 minutes before the show, and I'm like, oh no. You know, that whole like, oh no, the TikTok thing.
The song going in here.
We'll be good. We're
All
talking
right,
about
guys,
spreaders tonight, not Bush Light, boys.
Yeah, we got a fun episode for you guys this evening, but let's talk a little bit about our podcast listeners. So for those of you who don't know that we're on live cast right now, and live chatting, we just quick introduction. We are Keep Off the Grass live cast. There's 10 DIY lawn care nuts enthusiasts who like to talk about all things relating to lawn care.
These nuts.
Nuts. You can find us on our YouTube. So search up Keep Off the Grass livecast. You'll find all of our past shows on there as well. We appreciate if you like and subscribe. That channel's growing tremendously and quickly, so we appreciate you guys that have done that. We also have an Instagram page. It's kind of where we hang out most of the time. You can find us at keep.off.the.grass. And then finally head over to our website, KOTG.live. That's where you'll find who we are, where we're from. We like to talk about our deck sizes over there, so you can check us out on that. And our previous live casts are there. So we are talking about spreaders and sprayers. So let the innuendos begin.
Oh my goodness. We're gonna lay on thick tonight.
I got
a personal challenge that I'm not gonna bust out laughing tonight.
Maybe a few giggles, but
But hey, let's hear from Chris. Oh, it's Mo time. tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what your grass type is, your deck size, all that good stuff.
All right, what's up, guys? I'm from wherever's not going to get me hit. I'm one of the northern guys. Cool season, Carver, Minnesota, small town just outside of Twin Cities. So Midwest, all day, every day.
Yep.
I'm running on about a 6,200 square foot lawn. Moved in about, we built here about, I think we're running on 6 years. Front yard is kind of split in terms of grass seed and those types of things. Everything was planted as a, everything was planted as a Kentucky blue, sodded as Kentucky blue. Weeds were out of control first year right off the bat. We've got one tree in our yard. We've got a ton of sun and a ton of wind, so we just get hammered. But for the first time, like last year, seeded with perennial rye. We finished our backyard, put a patio back there just 2 years ago, I think it was, and then just use that as an excuse to kind of semi-renovate, like half renovate the front yard, right? So overseeded, so it's 50-50 perennial rye, sissy grass in Kentucky. And the back is it's all Kentucky blue, but it's heat stress about 20% of the time, so just gets pounded. So what else
Yeah,
did
you were saying you got
a
a lot of sun back there. Backyard, you said it gets a lot of sun, so that heat stress with the Kentucky really sets in hard.
Terrible fungus like crazy. It's just getting pounded with disease right now. Yeah, it's not looking great, but I think we're all there, right? Especially with the heat up here. Up here, just like everywhere else, it's been hot. It's been 94 today, 97 tomorrow. Got humidity up the wazoo, so it's tough to keep up, to be honest. But
do you have irrigation?
Yeah.
In ground.
Yep.
Nice.
Doesn't feel like it's doing much though, right? Front yard's doing good. Our house shades the front yard pretty well, to be honest. So that's cooking right now. That's all systems go. The backyard is just getting.
Does it run off city water, or do you have a well or anything that you get the luxury of?
Yeah, it's all city, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So what's a typical Minnesota growing season for you? Like when's your season going to end? It depends. It's been getting later and later every year. It's about the same as the rest of the Midwest ones. It's well, actually, that's probably not true. We're probably going into late September, mid-October, and it's done by Halloween most years. Kind of a coin flip of the year.
So if you were going to overseed, would you be basically starting real soon?
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
Okay.
It's coming up quick. Because what are you guys down in Iowa?
Closer to Labor Day. If we're gonna, that's generally speaking, that's kind of the renovation weekend is Labor Day. Mark, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like most people, August 25th is so the University of Iowa recommends here to overseed like between August 25th and September 10th. Almost every year, that's about what you aim for. Last year that kind of sucked because it was like 100 degrees.
Yeah,
right around that time. So it'll be interesting to kind of see, but yeah, usually it's right around Labor Day, Labor Day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, last year, if I recall correct, last year we got deep into the season, and then Halloween came and it was just freezing. Like it was October 30th, warm, October 31st, freezing.
We had like some frost spells. I was waiting to cut after overseeding, and there was frost was coming. I was like, oh my god, is it done? I haven't been mowed yet. And then another round of heat came. I was like, oh, okay, calm down a little bit. But yeah, the weather can be crazy.
Yeah, and then we're in garbage for 6 months of the winter and come out sometime in April and hang out with the rest of you guys.
So you're probably cut off like a month on each side compared to us.
I know, isn't that nuts? We're only like 3 or 4 hours away from you guys, and it's crazy what the difference is there.
But it sounds kind of similar to Utah, because we'll go, at least last year, we went into right after Halloween. Halloween's kind of your last day to get your spring fertilizer down. It was around Halloween time, and then November you're snowed and stuff. So Pretty
Hey,
similar.
what part of
Throwing down fur in the snow.
Yeah.
what part of Minnesota you're at?
We're just outside of the Twin Cities. So
Renville? What? Renville, Wilmer?
No, we're closer to the cities than those. We're 40 minutes southwest. So
Okay.
yeah. So there's the 494, 694 border. We're just outside of that.
Okay, kind of know where. You got it.
Are you familiar?
I used to live in Minnesota when I was younger. We used
No
to
kidding.
Yeah, we used to work over there in the fields
All right.
with my parents. I was
That's
like
awesome. That's
kindergarten.
awesome.
Yes, sir.
And now you're at the opposite end of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now he's got Mexico in his backyard, so yeah.
What to say? That's the smart move. A little bit warmer down there.
Yeah.
All right, so hey guys, let's talk about spreaders and sprayers. Olee,
Hey.
Olee, what do you got
Ole's
there?
probably got
You guys
big
want to start
guns.
with spreaders and then go on to sprayers like later on?
yeah,
I usually
Ole's showing something
start-
off over there.
Surprise
I think
giveaway.
you
Oh.
spread it first and then you spray afterward. Is that how it works?
God damn it.
Dang.
That was bad. I know.
That's usually how it works.
If you got a permagreen, you do it both at the same time.
Oh, let's go home.
Oh, he's done. Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to all these guys in the live chat because we were seeing spreaders and sprayers all over Instagram the last few days.
man.
It was pretty awesome. We appreciate you guys jumping in and supporting us with that. So it was cool to see what you guys all use too.
Yeah. Yes. So I kind of threw out the old question on my story, and I had a lot of people say the what tells it, like the EG60 or something. What's that called? What's that
Echo one or something.
Maybe that's what it is. It's this one that Sean has.
Yeah,
What's
it's
that one?
like RBM 60 or something.
Oh, the RBC from Echo.
Yeah. So I've heard a lot of like extremes on that. I've heard some people love it, and I've heard some people just hate it. I don't know.
I've used it. It's a love and hate kind of thing with that one. What I like about it is that it has the rubber tires, which is perfect, right?
Yeah.
So the weight you take a lot of weight off your back because compared to the plastic tires. And of course, one thing I did hate about the RB60 is that the hopper, let's say you want to put down 3 pounds of product, the hopper is kind of like in a weird angle, so you can't really spread the full 3 pounds. You have to add an extra pound to get the 3 pounds.
It's like residual left over.
Pretty much, yeah. That's the only on the RB60 that I experienced. Other than that, it's a great spreader for a DIYer. Let's say something, if you want to use it close to 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, it's a perfect spreader.
Gotcha. Yeah, I used to have like a tiny little Scott.
Still do.
Got him.
Oh man! You guys want to talk about the different types of spreaders? Like handheld
spreader. I hardly know her.
Hey, there's Sean. What's up, brother?
Man, look at that.
So I threw out a question.
John has the RB60.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about your RB60. I know it's a love and hate kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. So the RB60, in my experience of using it over the last 2 seasons, has a lot of pros and a lot of cons. And there's not much middle ground for this thing. It has its good points. It has the edge guard, the pneumatic tires, pretty low price point, only about $110. It throws a really far distance, so you get a really nice pattern. But the agitator on the thing stinks really, really bad. And it struggles at spreading large prill products, especially at like a lower rate. because the product will kind of bridge over the holes down into the impeller, out of the hopper. So it works really good for small prill products. So if you're throwing around small balls around the yard, you'd be all right. But if you got the big balls, you got to watch out for the jamming. Yeah.
I know you just took you got an awesome deal on a Lesco spreader. It'll be a night and day difference, man, to be honest, like a complete night and day difference, especially the spread width of it. It's more than enough.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys have talked yet about, finding, used equipment on like Facebook Marketplace, but that's where I was able to score my Lesco 80-pound stainless steel spreader. Needs a little work. The impeller, I need to put a new impeller on it, but the gearbox, the wheels, it's all still solid. Has the permagreen agitator in it.
Huge.
So big upgrade for that. Just cleaning it up, cleaning out the old grease, putting in new grease, putting a new impeller on it. That's like $5 at Site One. It'll be really good.
David, you mentioned the tire. David, you mentioned the tires were like a back saver. Do they really make that much of a difference?
It does, man. It does. Especially when the lawn is not even and you're carrying a lot of weight. It can pain in the butt, man. It really can. That's one of the reasons why I got my 80-pound hopper, Lesco. And man, it like I said, it's a night and day difference. Especially, I'm less tired. I use a lot of force because it's still a lot of weight that I'm pushing, but it's still, it's way better than when using like for example, like the RB60 or even a what's it called, the Scots, the plastic with the plastic tires and all of that.
Those are junk.
He ain't pushing that no tall fescue.
Oh hell no! Hell no!
You guys are hating on the edge guard Scots.
I'll second that, man.
Where it all started.
I have a little handheld Scots, and my yard's not too big, so the handheld Scots has worked really well for most everything that I've put down with a small residential yard. The biggest problem is just refilling the thing, but you have a lot of accuracy as you're going around a small yard with little flower beds and stuff. That's worked pretty well. I found one of my coworkers for like $5. I got one of those Scott's edge guards with the plastic wheels or whatever. Like, oh, this would be great. Now I don't have to walk around and hand twist the thing. But the thing was I never use it because you have to have a real nice flat yard, flat grass, any kind of a hill, a slope. I never use it. So for a small yard, I think those handheld ones are pretty good. I've only had experience with the Scots. I haven't had the electric one or the spiker one. I don't know how those all work, but for a small residential yard, the little handheld ones has worked pretty good for me.
I almost do, because I want to talk about the different types of spreaders and owning a handheld spreader. It goes a long way. It's very practical. I'm actually looking into upgrading my handheld spreader because I have a little Scots one, but since right now I'm actually servicing several lawns that are back to back together close by, so I don't want to refill the handheld spreader. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Solo, I believe it's called the 421S. It actually carries a 50 pounds in front of you, and you carry like a backpack right in front of you on your chest, and you just spread it, and you actually get a width when spreading the fertilizer, and you're able to adjust like for example prill sizes. Usually when I usually use a lot of green straight fertilizers, so you get an even pattern, way better spread throughout the whole lawn. That I'm actually looking into that one. Actually, it's a very good upgrade as well.
Those are good for seeding too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious what small spreaders you guys use, like the handheld ones, because obviously I'm not going to use it on my whole yard, but like when I have like a bare spot that I'm trying to seed, I prefer not to do it by hand, Nate. So I like to use like a handheld spreader, but I bought like this cheap one from Walmart, and I mean it sucks.
Is it green and yellow?
What is it?
Is it green and yellow? The yellow handle?
Yeah.
And like it goes over your wrist?
Oh no, don't do that.
I got a record. Anything green and yellow.
But like I just prefer to do that even if I have like a little small circle just to do that. And like, I mean, this thing, like I either got to like crank the shit out of it, like just keep going, or or even with wide open, it doesn't really matter. So, I mean, I was curious, like I'm looking for a real nice handheld one. I didn't know if you guys had any recommendations.
So I got a question on the handheld one. So I've got a Scott's Wiz. I'm just kind of curious just for discussion. So what would differentiate for you guys, like to use a Scott, like for example, like a Scott's Mini versus the Wiz or like any other handheld spreader? What kind of square footage would you use a handheld spreader on?
Stick to the Wiz, man.
My size lawn. I actually use. I mean, I posted some pictures. I've got a old Scott's drop spreader. It's pretty cool, but for the most part, I have a handheld spiker. I think Olee's got one too. So I had a Scott's for the longest time down in Arizona. It like went under my wrist and held it. But I mean, quality wise, it just sounded like it was grinding all the time, trying to spin the wheel. And with this spiker, man, it's good quality. I'm able to turn it and, no problem there. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be doing, I'm 2,500 square feet. I wouldn't be doing 5,000, 4,000 square foot with a handheld. That's too much.
Yeah, I think if you're putting down something where you got to put a lot of product down, the handheld would probably. I mean, I guess the Wiz, that's battery powered, right? It does not have like little battery. Just so that may not be so bad. You just got to refill the thing a few times depending on how much product and what your yard size is. I mean, my yard's pretty small. I think that maybe similar to Brian, 2,500 square feet is what I've actually been treating and taking care of. Basically, it's my front yard and side yard. The handheld works pretty well, but I've been pretty simple with the products I put down. I pre-emergent, some Pro-Pete, some Milorganite, some Andersons. It's all simple stuff where there's a lot of give if you overdo it or underdo it. You don't have to be super accurate. I would want maybe something where I could judge it maybe a little bit better if I had a bigger yard or if I was putting down, stuff where you want to be more accurate with what you're doing.
Yeah. And like kind of
I haven't used
fertilizer.
Yeah. I haven't used the spiker one. I've heard good things, but my Scott's one is some generic one I got from Home Depot a couple years ago when we first moved in, didn't think anything of it. And it's worked fine. It gets the job done for what I've done.
Which one are you using? Good. Is it the DLX, the one that's the size up or
I wish I knew. No, I think it might be
the Mini you could literally take with one hand and like put it over your head.
No, yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
I'm talking about the rotary spreader.
No. Oh, the I have the Mini.
Like
I think it's the Mini, the EdgeGuard Mini is what I got. I don't like it. It's garbage. We have a hill, so if you're going back and forth, only one wheel will actually spin the thing. So you have to like make sure you're tipping it the right way if you're going across a hill. Otherwise, it won't do any. I don't know. I don't like it at all. I got it for $5. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
That's actually going to be my next question: is how many guys here like have? So I upgraded this year. For me, I upgraded to the spiker, the 80-pound spreader, and I was just kind of curious what you guys, anybody here that's kind of upgraded, because I was a Scott's EdgeGuard. I used the Mini forever, and I'm not as negative on that as sounds like some of you guys are, like in the chat and stuff. I actually I mean, I feel like you kind of get what you pay for. It's what, like $35. So I'm just kind of curious what you guys think, because like I know my Scott's, I mean that comes with like a $350 price tag, so it's the equivalent of like 10 of those Scott's Minis. Have you guys upgraded? What have you got? Have you liked it? What have you felt like is the biggest difference with it?
It's definitely a very good if you're barely starting and you want to get the feel of fertilizing a lawn, the Mini gets the job done. But once you start realizing that, you're not getting a fairly good spread, depending on the fertilizer that you're using, then, you kind of like grow up and, you want to upgrade. But I think everybody has to start with something. And for a lot of people, the EdgeGuard Mini was one of them. I think $35 is too expensive. I would go as much as $20 for that spreader, but that's it.
I would say $5. $5 is more than enough. for
Six,
one of those
7,
things.
8, 8,
I
8.
don't-
So along with spreaders,
I got one I'll give away for free if anybody wants to come pick it up. I hate those.
I will admit I did trash one 2 weeks ago. So
Was it cathartic? Did you feel really good about it too while you were doing it?
my wife was like, why is the spreader out at the driveway? I was like,
Yeah. I mean,
you could probably chuck it pretty far.
do you guys all
biggest
have
thing to look for-
broadcast spreaders or drop spreaders? What's your preference?
Broadcast.
Broadcast.
Yeah, broadcast.
Why? What's better? Why is it better?
Why would you use a drop spread? Like when would that be beneficial? I mean, if you didn't have an edge guard feature or whatever,
Right.
I guess, for tight spots maybe, but why would somebody want a drop spreader unless you're on a golf course putting green or something?
Keep edges really clean. Keep stuff out of the flower bed, stuff out of the road, driveways.
That's what I see it a lot. A lot of people
Control.
prefer the drop spreaders because they don't want it in mulch beds and garden beds and out, wherever else. So they try to control a little bit more with the drop, but it kind of seems that broadcast is the more popular, right? Everybody's got the broadcast. So you almost need that edge guard on there to keep stuff out of the garden beds and stuff.
Well, I
But
think
with
about
the broadcast, you can seed and you can fertilize. I don't think that the drop spreader is going to do much on fertilize. Now, some of those little Scots are drop spreaders or drop.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. It's just not really. I mean, it's
right. It's not super efficient.
It's not really ideal.
It's just 700 laps back and forth.
You definitely have to be a little tighter on your line. So when you have a small yard, hey, it's good, but when you got a big
if you want that domination line to be real precise,
right?
Because I see those pictures and I'm like, oh man, that looks so good. Mine's kind of like wavy. You kind of see it fades into the neighbor a little bit, but yeah, I mean you see those horror pictures where like somebody snakes across your yard with something nasty and you could see where they went. Like, that's got to be drop spreader, but I don't know. I think so many folks use the broadcast spreaders nowadays.
Yeah,
it's more rare,
holding that cardboard along the
edge. The cardboard edge guard. Yeah. Cardboard with those like binder clips to clip it on the side of the
DIY.
That was mine on my Earthway. I started with an Earthway what they call it, even spread, the super basic with the plastic wheels. That's what I was going to say earlier too. If you're looking to upgrade from, something like a Scott's, there it is.
There you go.
Yeah. That real basic red one. It was great. But it had plastic wheels, and that I think is the biggest upgrade you can do is to go from plastic to pneumatic tires, especially if you have something like Olee said, fescue, or a thicker, taller lawn. There's a huge difference between pushing those spreaders with plastic wheels like a Scott's or like that Earthway to pushing one with the pneumatic tires like the RB60 or the higher end, commercial grade spreaders like the Lesco or Spikers too. So, if you're looking to upgrade, that's definitely the feature that I would look for first.
So what kind of maintenance do you guys have to do on spreaders? So you guys rinse it out after you're done? I mean, what stuff you guys do?
It depends on what you're spreading. I know a lot of folks clean it up whenever they use like pre-emerges and stuff like that. But if you're using the same fertilizer, there's no need for to clean it up, especially on those broadcast spreaders. Now, I'm glad you brought it up, Brian, because I want to start talking about, we're talking about manual broadcast spreaders. And, I want to talk about because my dream is to buy a steel green and Olee owns a perma green. So, what type of benefit do you have, Olee, other than, of course, you're riding and spraying at the same time? What are your thoughts on that, brother?
You don't get tired. You start out push spreading, you start out good and strong. And if you got a decent sized yard, by the time you get to the end, your rate's going to change. If you're a fat boy like me and then had a couple Coronas, you're definitely going to slow down. But the good thing about something that's motorized, it's going to say that stay the same speed. So, and it don't get tired.
Yeah, I want to go back real quick to the edge guard talk. So, I mean, is the edge guard a necessity when you're buying a sprayer, or a spreader? Do you have to have an edge guard? Is that what you're looking for?
If you want your coverage to be the same from the edge all the way across the yard, yes. Because when you're in the middle of the yard, you're overlapping.
Yeah.
If you try to edge with a spreader that doesn't have an edge guard, where that outside edge is going to get shitted. It's not going to get the same coverage. So that's why you buy your Lesco, and it comes with an edge guard.
Yeah, especially if you live somewhere like a subdivision or have a road nearby, it'll keep the product off the road too, which might not seem like a big deal, but keeping your granulars off the road, getting them off the sidewalk, sweeping them, blowing the product back off your sidewalk, back off your driveway. That's a big factor in keeping excess chemicals and products and nutrients out of your local watersheds. Yeah. So not to be like Mr. Eco Green, but that's a big deal to keep that stuff out of the watershed.
Not only that, but
the driveway.
The iron and all of that, the staining, it goes a long way, man. I'm definitely with you, Sean, because there's a lot of turf management companies, fertilizing companies that don't even take the time to blow out the freaking granules off of the driveway or sidewalk.
Or broadcast spreading into your neighbor's yard like mine. So
going back to what Olee said, with one that doesn't necessarily have a edge guard, right? Because that's where I started. I just put it on a lower setting and just did a crap ton of back and forth, right? North, south, east, west, a bunch. My neighbors thought I was crazy. I was out there for an hour longer than I needed to be, but it was an even spread that way, right? So there's ways around it, but
yeah, that's true.
Hey, so Chris, maybe I missed it, but what do you have for a spreader?
Oh, just the Scott's EdgeGuard Mini.
Yeah,
with plastic wheels.
That's the OG of spreader.
Oh, sorry,
right?
man. I didn't mean to shit on your spreader.
Oh, dude, my spreader sucks. It's the worst. But yeah, my wife's probably watching upstairs and like hearing this, and she's like, "Crap, we're gonna have to go spend like $800.
We're going to get a new one." Yeah,
got bad news.
$800 for good.
Yeah, actually, you're welcome.
Yeah, see what happens when we all get together.
When's your birthday?
In 2 days.
Ooh, wow. Oh,
it's destiny.
Nice, man.
Happy birthday, my man.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thanks, bro.
You want to drop your wife's Instagram?
Whoa.
I bet we could have probably 50 people send her a message.
Yeah. A couple of hundred.
So this thing was created like a week ago, and I finally got her blessing on this whole thing. So she's all in. She's sharing. Hey, we're rolling now. So
hey, Chris, start googling spreaders on her phone so she can get the app.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. You may be interested in this. Hey, Zach, I want to hear what your thoughts are on that Anderson's Lawn Star or Yard Star spreader, because I've seen you have that bad boy. You got some pretty good square feet. How do you like that spreader?
Yeah, it spreads a good 10 foot. I mean, that's all I use on my acre, but Ole's right. Yeah. I mean, if it's uneven, it's because of my fault, because either, I'm getting tired or had a few too many drinks. If I feel like I'm getting tired, I may just like leave my spreader right where it is on that pass. I'll go chill in the garage for a minute and I'll come back, just so I'm fresh. But awesome. The edge guard though, so it doesn't have an edge guard, but what it does is, so it has 3 holes that shoot out the fertilizer, and it doesn't have an edge guard. However, it has a option where it shuts off about 1.5 of the holes, so you're only really shooting out. It's kind of like an edge guard, but it's only shooting out.
It changes the pattern.
It changes the pattern. So, so I utilize that, but I like it. I mean, going from a Scott's, like I pushed this whole property with the higher Scott's edge guard before this, and then when I used that, I mean, it was like a Cadillac. I mean, I was just like smooth. It was like, holy crap! I'm just gonna like start doing all my apps in one night. Like, I mean, it was just it was a major difference. I mean, it's real fat rubber tires. Yeah. Normally not a fan of rubber, but I love them on my spreader.
I was going to say that's impressive muscle control to be able to close and open and control your holes like that. That's
real. No, that's true, and that's the problem I would have with the Scotts. It was like, if I was spreading like like a thick organic, or a like a rocky type fertilizer, I mean, that thing would like be clogging up, and I'd be just like clicking that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Zach,
trying to get it to close.
Drinking more water usually helps with
Stones, man. Stones.
Passing them stones.
And y'all are something else, man.
But I mean, there was a few times I was like halfway through and I was with the Scots, and I got half my property done, and then I still have some left in the spreader, and I can't get the damn thing to open. And like, I just wanted to throw that mother. And when I got this, it was just like, I haven't had any issues, and I've like beat the crap out of it. I probably haven't taken the best care of it as far as like cleaning it every time. But I haven't had like one issue with it. So I really like it.
Nice.
I would like a permagreen though, like Olee, or I'm looking at some pull behind spreaders.
That would be
They got them on Marketplace. You can find a good used one.
The only reason I'm scared to use a pull behind spreader is I don't know if I could get it accurate. I don't know if I could like do an accurate application with just pulling it behind like my tractor. As far as like turning around, I don't know. I'm not confident with it, but I'd like to do that.
Yeah, spread that full 60, right?
You want to know what I really want? That's way out of all of our budgets, is that Eco Lawn thing.
I don't know what that is.
That top dresser.
It's a top dresser.
Oh man, yeah, I've seen those
big blue thing.
Like TikToks, man. I think that's badass. It's just like just slinging it.
That's hypnotic,
Get the yard done in about 30 seconds.
Oh man,
that's on Olee's wish list for the next.
I sold mine.
Why, bro?
Dude,
there's no need in having it once I learned about like Earthworks and those kind of fertilizers that you can basically top dress with. The top dresser is good for sand. It's good for compost. And I had an Eco 150 and I ended up selling it.
Did you?
It's not for fertilizer.
Yeah.
No, it's more for like if you're going to spread sand and top dress and level low cut turf, or it is for if you're going to top dress with compost. It's ideal for that. It's got a belt driven in the bottom, spinners out front.
What's the MSRP on those?
They start about 6,000.
Pocket change.
You got it.
Pocket change.
Well, you're saving money on all those $35 spreaders, so that $15 adds up, David.
All right,
so what do they say? Buy once, cry once, right?
We're about halfway through, so let's switch over to sprayers now. What kind of sprayers you guys working with?
We got a giveaway?
Squirt.
I know Olee had some hidden one.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do, Olee?
I was trying to find a picture or something. Let's see here. Let's give this right here away.
So what is that?
This is molasses and humic and fulvic acid mixed.
Ooh.
So
from Texas.
Yes, they're out of Texas.
Yep.
And I guess they can just put MicroLife, if we got enough likes, if anybody needs to hit the like button or whatever before y'all go, but let's give away one of those.
All right, so you want to do that live chat?
It looks like we're at 32 right now.
What do you want us to go to, Olee?
Spread it.
How many likes?
How
We
many
got 53
got
people.
in there?
53
Got 52 viewing. Several of them is us. So whatever the math difference is.
Spread it.
Spread it.
All right, guys. So let's get some more likes, and we can probably get up to 40 because last time we
Let's
called
do
them
40.
out, we jumped up past 40. So once we get 40 likes, then we will do the giveaway. We'll start taking names. Hashtag
MicroLife.
So like it and then start hashtagging, guys. All right.
Just the tip.
What? Where'd that come from?
What was that? All right, so we hit 40 likes already. See how fast that was? All right, guys. So hashtag MicroLife. for Ole's giveaway, I'll collect the names and we'll do a spin for it. But let's talk about spreaders now while we're doing that.
Sprayers.
I'm sorry, sprayers. We're on
Spray and pray.
Birdie squirts.
Sprayer,
So
I hardly know her.
I dipped my toes into sprayers this year. Petra sent me their whatever 4,000 something or other, and that thing is pretty awesome. I mean, I don't have a lot of reference, I don't have a lot of experience. Last year, I bought one of those little handheld pump ones and from Home Depot so I could spray some stuff to kill off my nuts edge I get every year. And
what?
My all those nuts edge. But and that worked fine. But if you're working with any big yard, or you want to put down some real liquids, getting the battery powered sprayer has been awesome. I've used it a couple times and it's awesome. I don't have a lot of reference of other stuff, but I'm excited to continue working on the liquids and all that kind of stuff with this new place that we're at now. Spraying some chloride and all that kind of stuff. I think it opens up a whole new window of stuff you can do out in the yard, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm pretty happy. I've used it twice. It worked great. I got the T-Jets that Sean recommended. Those things are crushing it, man. I mean, they made a big difference. The nice even spread. So I'm pretty happy with that so far, but I don't have a lot of experience. That's about all I got on sprayers.
Yeah, can I just say one thing, just like really quickly before we get into this again? I just want to make sure people understand we're not crapping on like all equipment here. So I feel like with both sprayers and spreaders, you can get by like the Scott's Mini. I use that literally. I still to this day I have two of them. I just retired one of them because the wheels broke, as they do. But I still use it. Like when I'm going to do like a small application, honestly, I still use it over my spiker. Like it's just easier. And if I'm just going to do like a parkway or something, and kind of the same thing, like I just did an application of Sedgehammer recently. I just on a really small portion of a parkway. I just put it in a Scott's hand pump can. You can get it for like $16 at Home Depot. So you don't need to have all this equipment. I feel like it's just kind of like anything, like, you can still drive a car, that's like a 15-year-old Honda Civic. I mean, might not be as good as a 2022, Beamer, but like, you don't need this stuff. I mean, it's like luxury stuff, right? I mean, I feel like I just want to make sure we're clear on that. Like, you don't have to drop $500 on a sprayer in order to have a good lawn.
Use it for your benefit. If you don't want to spend over $50, the Mini, like I said before, it gets the job done. We're not talking bad stuff about the lower end spreaders or sprayers. We're just talking by experience, so nobody get offended or anything like that, please, guys.
No, for sure. Some people use them Scott spreaders for years. I mean, and then they still last. But I mean, when you're working with higher square footage, it gets a lot more wear and tear, and it goes south quicker. I mean, depending on, maybe I didn't take the best care of mine. I probably didn't. So I mean, I'm just saying, a lot of people get by with for years with Scott's, like just the basic plastic wheels, plastic spreader. There's nothing wrong with that. Mark's right.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, like, we're clear on that. I mean, I repped a used $250 Toro recycler for a long time. I mean, I've upgraded now, just like I've upgraded my spreader and my sprayers. I've become like more and more into it. But I mean, unless you have like, if you have a huge property, you're not going to be out there with a hand sprayer, like pumping.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about that. But, if you have a typical suburban lot that's like a quarter acre or less, I mean, depending on what you want to put down, I mean, you can get by with a $20 hand pump. I mean, you can. It's going to be a lot of work, but you can still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like any hobby, right? You got people that are like gearheads and like equipment heads, right? And I enjoy that part of this hobby, building the spray gun and messing around with the T-Jet tips on my sprayer, trying different spreaders. I enjoy that, but it's definitely not, like you said, Mark, it's not a requirement to have the best of the best, or to build a sprayer gun from scratch. You don't have to do that kind of stuff. Just find what works for you. And that's what works for you,
and
right?
For me personally, like on the sprayers, so like I recently spent the money to get a Flow Zone sprayer. I think it's like the Typhoon 2, which is about $300. And that took me a long time to justify buying. But there are certain things, like certain herbicides and stuff, that like I will not put in there because I'm just like, And I think somebody just put it in the chat. So like if I'm going to spray something like glyphosate or like something that I'm just so worried is going to hit something, you know, like I literally will still put it in that $20 Scots. I got 2 of them in my garage. I put Sedgehammer in there. I put glyphosate in there. Like I just don't mess with my flow zone with stuff like that. So I still think there's use, even if you do have a more expensive stuff, like to keep them around.
Yeah, I actually still use my 1 gallon pump sprayer. I use it all the time. I actually have them labeled just for Glide, or I have a label for Sedgehammer or whatever. I rarely use my electric sprayer for herbicides. Very, very rare, but I'm starting to use a 2 gallon sprayer that I got from Petra. I'm moving up very little, you know. I'm upgrading little by little.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I got. Go ahead, David. Sorry.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say when I bought a thing of Roundup, you know, it came with a sprayer. Like it was a sprayer of Roundup that I got from Home Depot or Lowe's or something, and I still use that. I just refill it with you know, fresh glyphosate or Killzall, and a little surfactant and some ammonium sulfate, and make a little bit of like a little nuclear kind of spray. But you know, that sprayer still works, and it was the one that came with the Roundup in it. So you know, you could definitely reuse. The little stuff works just fine. And that's a good point too about having the separate sprayer for the non-selective products like glyphosate, things like that. That's a good point.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent there. I just, especially for people like that potentially listen on the podcast, I don't want people to think like, you know, you have to invest all, you know, like you can still get by. We're just sharing like what we like to use and we've learned and stuff. So
no, for sure. I mean, like
$3 at Walmart right here, boys. $3 Walmart.
Actually, yeah, that's the exact same one I got. I know what you're saying by the wrist thing now.
Yeah, you put your hand
yeah.
It's $3 at Walmart.
The only thing I'm saying is like a lot of people in here, they're lawn freaks like us. You know, they're trying to take their lawn to the next level. And I mean, I just couldn't believe how much like it was like, damn, this is like nice. Like, I mean, I was just trying to make a point of saying like, you know, if you really invested in your lawn, like, I mean,
so Zach, what do you have
as far as a sprayer?
Yeah.
I used a Field King for 3-4 years. It actually, the motor kind of burnt out. And I reached out to Sean because I seen him when it burned out. I reached out to Sean, and actually it prevented me from a lot of applications from liquid this year because I didn't have a sprayer for a few months. And I recently just so everywhere I looked, I was actually going to get that same sprayer Sean had, and it was either sold out or it was going to be like 3 weeks till I got it. So I wanted it pretty quick. And I was looking around at reviews, and I ended up going with the Sprayers Plus 4-gallon sprayer.
Bro.
And it, I'm still getting used to it. I haven't used it enough to really say a full review on it, but you know, I'm happy with it so far.
Yeah, that one's badass.
Yeah, and the kind of the insider secret is a lot of the sprayers are just white labeled products coming from, you know, overseas equipment manufacturers that just have a different company label on it. The flow zones and the spray mates and the Petras. Yeah. You know, they're all coming from the same factory
it's like
overseas.
The Beats headphones.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the factory in Wuhan, China?
Yeah. There you go.
Hey,
yeah, I definitely, I don't want to shit on anything. You know, I'm not meaning to do that earlier. You know, I think every tool has its place for sure, especially if you're doing small applications, spot spray and all that kind of stuff.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Keep it clean. Anyway, go ahead, Brian. Sorry, man.
Well, I was just going to say, did we pick a lawn of the week this week?
We picked one. We just haven't announced it yet.
Oh. Should we announce that real quick? Anybody want to announce that?
Let's wait.
That was a tough one. Definitely.
Keep Off the Grass Lawn of the Week, sponsored by Pro Pete Fertilizers.
I haven't seen the winner that we're talking, that we all know who it's going to be. I haven't seen him in the chat tonight.
Yeah.
Dude, what's he doing?
So
He's
maybe
got newborns or something. I guess little babies. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
It's just that.
Maybe we pick a 1, 2,
That as
3. You have to be in the chat now.
Oh man.
No.
No.
Oh, bro, where
Hey,
you at?
hey guys. So I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like a broken record every single week. It's just gets harder and harder. We got a good 5 or 6 bunch of you guys that keep pumping out some amazing lawns right now. Warm season's going great. Cool seasons. Some of you guys are hanging in there through the heat, and so it's looking great. But this week, we decided, and it came down to, he had a really cool video too. I like that. Had something to do with middle mowing. But this week, we chose Rooted Lawn Co.
Hey,
boy.
It's that chevron pattern.
Yeah.
Keep them straight, right, Nate?
Exactly. That's a whole bunch of little straight lines.
Yeah,
I saw that earlier this week, and my jaw hit the damn floor. I was like, "Dang, that top picture is just fire."
But
contrast.
You guys don't
It's
know.
so good.
Rooted did a middle mowing. Midwest started this hashtag middle mowing thing, and he did a video that kind of got caught on fire throughout the community. And you guys should go check it out. Check out his reel of him doing his middle mowing. There's a spin and a lawnmower ride and all that.
Riding along on that thing. That was awesome.
Vince is in the chat. He's in the chat, guys.
Okay, about time.
Good, good.
He likes his chevron pattern. He says his wife thinks it's cute.
It's like the farmhouse design, right?
Yeah.
Those were my words, not his. So, but yeah, no, awesome stripes, dude.
Nice job.
Yeah,
And
it's
a
awesome.
KOTG guest alumni too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Chris, you have something to look forward to. It seems like everybody that's been a guest on us wins something later down the road. So,
just got to start doing like circle patterns or something like that now.
Yeah.
Well, Olee does
Did
the
we hear-
bullseyes.
Did we hear from Chris on what sprayer you got?
What's that?
What sprayer you use?
Oh,
it's the Field King.
Oh, you use the Field King too. Okay, all right.
It's a 4 gallon hand pump. My left arm's got to keep up with my right, so it's the 4 gallon guy.
Do you have the constant flow check valve on it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, no, it gets the job done. And to be completely honest and transparent, this is the first year I've been messing around with liquids. And the learning curve on taking the plunge into that has been absolutely insane.
Oh yeah.
There's been numerous times even just this year that I've just completely messed up. Luckily there wasn't a ton of nitrogen in there. Right. But, I think with liquids, I think the biggest learning experience for me was just understanding how to calculate the rates and calibration of understanding how much is actually going out per 1,000 and per gallon and how much time it takes, what your pace needs to be. All of that is insane. So that took about 2 months. And so we're in mid-June, right? So it's been about a month of I feel like I got it. It's getting the job done though.
So that's actually, I don't want to get too off topic, but I think that's a good question. I'm curious to hear from the chat and from you guys. So when you take a product, I don't care if it's like a simple lawn solutions or if it's feature or it's, it's some other, product that's going to be mixed into, are you guys using like the Hydrotane, like the quart sprayer, like the simple lawn solution sprayer, like that built in, or using an ortho dial, or are you actually putting it in a backpack sprayer?
You asking me?
Anybody. Yeah.
I do all those. I do all those things still.
Yeah. All the above.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you calculate it?
So I like one that I like, so feature, that's newer to me. So something like feature, how are you applying feature?
So I think about what the product is and what I want to get out of it. And I know feature, as a liquid iron product, you get the best results with a foliar application. So that means I'm going to be using my backpack sprayer with a foliar spray tip on it. So that way the product gets on the leaf, dries on the leaf, gets absorbed into the plant tissue, and then darkens up the plant. If it's a high volume product, like a soil product, I'll think about using my air induction tip on my backpack sprayer, or my ortho dial and spray to get the product down into the soil, especially if for the dial and spray, if the kind of the water volume itself doesn't matter as much as just getting the product kind of into the soil. So I'm using my backpack sprayer more and more, but I still bust out the dial and spray every once in a while too.
So you're looking at it more as a foliar application versus a soil drench, essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's my biggest factor that I think about. And when I'm doing tank mixes of products too, it doesn't make a lot of sense to apply a soil product like humic acid with a foliar product like Feature or like something like that, because they work on the plant in different ways. So that's something I think about too. And then also if I'm doing them in sequence, right, I'll do the soil product first, switch out the tip, switch out the product, and do the foliar application second. So that way the foliar application doesn't get rinsed off if I do the foliar first and the soil second. So you always got to think about that. That's what I primarily think about when I'm mixing up stuff and thinking about what equipment I'm going to be using to spray.
Mark, on most of your backpack sprayers or your pump sprayers, generally out of the box, they're regulated to 4 gallons to 1,000 square feet, I believe.
One gallon per 1,000.
Okay, so 1 gallon to 1,000. So you can do 4,000 with a backpack sprayer. So you can't do anything real hot or anything high in nitrogen because you'll burn up. You don't have enough carrier. So that's one thing to think about, backpack sprayers or pump sprayers or even hand cans. You don't have a whole lot of carrier. That's the reason the hose end sprayers from Simple On Solutions are pretty cool, because you're applying water with that product. You have a carrier, almost like a professional skid sprayer. Most of them put out 2 gallons to 1,000. So you have a big carrier, you get a foliar feed, soil drench type deal at once, and you can run some in without burning stuff up. Most people who backpack have irrigation. So they'll backpack a certain product and then they'll turn the irrigation on for a couple minutes to, help have a little more water.
I think that was the most confusing part for me when I started, right? Is just understanding the difference between those two. It took me 2 weeks to fully understand that in terms of what the actual difference was.
Yep.
Also, what a lot of people don't know about backpack sprayers is, yes, people think it's 1 gallon per 1,000 square feet, right? So you have a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, but let's say you have a 8,000 square feet lawn. People think they have to refill the backpack sprayer twice to get the other 4,000. You don't have to do that. You can actually change the nozzle to get a lower volume, and if you have if you're able to adjust the PSI, you can actually go lower and treat the full 8,000 square feet with a 4-gallon backpack sprayer. Not a lot of people know that. Just by the tip. The nozzle.
Yeah, you can if you're messing around with your tips like that. But you got that's what, like Olee said too. Some products specify an amount of carrier that the product needs, and you can risk burning your grass too if you go with a hot mix. If you go with a lower volume of carrier with a higher concentration, a higher density of product over the same area. So you can definitely do that. You just got to be careful. And I'd hate to see somebody out there burn their lawn.
In the DIY lawn care community, there's a lot of blanket spraying, but like if you go, like for example, your spot spraying, that's more than enough. You know what I'm saying? But yes, a lot of people get taught by using 1 gallon for every 1,000 square feet. But I guess I see it different.
Yeah, and you got to calibrate too. So out of the box, it's like 1 gallon per 1,000 square feet. But, my backpack sprayer has a low and high pressure. So, find a 1,000 square foot area, like your driveway or part of your lawn, and just fill your backpack sprayer up with water, spray over the area with, the tip and whatever pressure you want to use. And then after you spray that 1,000 square feet, see how much water you used, right? And do that 3, 4, 5 times and average it out. And that'll show you at your pace with your equipment how much carrier volume you're using to spray every 1,000 square feet. So that way you could use that as your basis for mixing up your tanks and products. That's the easiest way I've found to calibrate a sprayer.
Are there any backpack sprayers out there that have an agitator like inside the tank to keep things so it doesn't settle out?
There's one, and at the what's it called? It's like orange and blue. Joe.
Actually, hey, speaking of that one, I know I don't know about the agitator in that, but that one I believe has a metrodome, and when you walk, it's clicking, click, 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 and it's like showing you how fast to walk as you're walking. Which I think that's interesting because
that's cool.
that keeps you on pace with your steps.
Yeah,
but I don't know about the agitator in that.
Yeah, I just circulate a little bit when I mix it up. I'll, I have my paint wool mixer on my drill to mix up the solution, and then I'll prime the pump and agitate through and just spray back into the backpack sprayer tank to circulate the liquid that way a little bit.
You don't do like a little dance.
Yeah, your little shimmy. I do that when I'm low on, see how much I got left, right?
That's what I was gonna say. I used the backpack for I used to use a hand spray pump for the longest time, and then I went to this backpack for the first time, and I just noticed how when I'm walking, it's just like sloshing all around and mixing all up and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm sure the neighbors were kind of thinking like, why is he walking all like duck?
Yeah. And I mean, as you do it more and more too, you'll start to feel the weight on your back and know kind of how your equipment works and how your yard, how you walk around your yard, and you'll be able to feel, how much you have left versus how much you've used, how far you are along. So, as you do it more and more and more, you could do it by feel a lot too, by that feel.
So I had a question, or I thought about when you guys fill that 4-gallon tank up and you got to like put that thing on, where do you guys put it, or how do you get it set up so you can kind of slide in there and get the straps on? What do you guys do?
I got a flatbed pickup. I set it on the
there you go.
pickup.
There you go. Fair enough.
Yeah,
tailgate.
It's heavy, man. It's heavy.
Yeah,
just guess I got to get a pickup really truck then. Yeah. See, it all adds up.
Yeah.
Truck now.
Straps are nice and tight.
Yeah.
Lush, I know you've hit on this before, but what about cold water versus hot water when you're mixing whatever you're going to spray? Is there an importance of it? Is there a have to?
It depends on what you're spraying. Like you mean like for example like pH, or you mean just cold or cold or hot?
Hot or cold? Like let's say you're going to throw some iron down. Can you do something? Let's just say anything.
Well,
if you got water soluble powder, then use some warm water.
Yeah.
So my question is if you use cold, can something not happen as far as like, can you not dilute it? Can it not activate something like that?
You can pre-mix it. For example, get a little jug, put enough hot water, put your solution for it to dissolve, and then go ahead and fill up your backpack sprayer. It does not have to be a hot or cold because the mix is already, the solution is already mixed.
Yeah. And Nate, I think what your question's kind of getting at is, dissolving a powder or another liquid inside of a liquid, that's mostly like a physical change. So, when you have think about like your hot tea versus iced tea, right? Which one's easier to dissolve sugar in? Hot tea. So that's easier to mix up solutions with hot water just because they dissolve a little bit easier. But a huge factor of mixing up solutions is actually the chemistry of your water.
Yep.
So knowing if you have hard water, knowing what your pH of your water is, most solutions, most tank mixes want to, especially for like fertilizers, herbicides, things like that, they want to be a little acidic. So you got to kind of adjust it, especially if you have hard water too, right?
Yes, sir.
The chemical can mix with the carbonates or, whatever is in your water that makes it hard. That can affect the chemistry of the mix and actually like drop things out of solution or create clumps that shouldn't be there. So, the easiest thing to do is to adjust the pH of your water, add an acid to fill up your backpack sprayer with water, add a little bit of citric acid or something like that to the tank, mix it up, and that'll neutralize the acid and neutralize the water hardness, and then add your product into that and then mix it up that way too.
Wouldn't you want to get your water to neutral pH before you would? I mean, if you're going to go that detailed,
that's what I mean. So fill your backpack sprayer up with water, the water amount, right?
Yep.
Then add the citric acid to neutralize the pH and neutralize the hardness, and then add the product in and then mix it up.
Yep.
So a point and something, if you read the label, it'll tell you what pH a lot of stuff wants to be mixed in.
Yep. Exactly.
And exactly. I'm as hard-headed as a rock. And that's the reason every once in a while I'll go back and I print the labels off on a piece of notebook paper, like a big sheet of paper, and sit down and read them again, even when I'm not using them. And I just keep picking up more and more information and seeing things.
Yeah.
But I'm a hands-on. I'm illiterate as far as reading and writing, and I have a hard time. No doubt.
You want to know what I found is helpful that I just thought of like 3 weeks ago is once you calculate what you need and as it matches up with your schedule, is just take the label off and write it on the bottle of what you're going to put on and when.
I date every bottle I buy, and I write the application rate on every bottle.
I was going to say, now you're speaking Olee's language here. Yeah.
Because see, like the times that I get to spray is before everybody gets up or before I go to work. Mm-hmm. So I go out there and I'm jumping on it. I don't want to sit down and read that label again. I want to go ahead and just have my math wrote on the bottle and just go with it. But
that's pretty smart. That's where Olee, you write those weird K's, that backwards K that one time on that video.
That was peer pressure, man. That was video pressure. I screw up more and stutter more when I get the camera out than any of the dub above it.
I was going to say he threw a strikeout while the hitter was just looking. That's what the backward K was for.
But hey, I pulled it off though,
Yeah. No, that's a good point though. I mean, I think a lot of us do that is once you spend 30 minutes figuring out what the ratio is, then you just write down, 2 ounces per gallon or whatever it may be. And that way you have a quick reference. I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
Have you guys broken down for like rookies like me, right? It took me a long time to figure this out. Have you guys broken down how to measure how much nitrogen is going down per thousand or per application? So you don't burn your grass?
With liquid?
Mm-hmm.
And it depends if it's a liquid that's that's already in a bottle, like a concentrate, or if you're mixing with like a water soluble powder, right? And water soluble powder is pretty easy because you do it just like a granular fertilizer calculation, and then just put that weight of the powder into your backpack sprayer and dissolve it in whatever carrier you need to cover that area that you've calculated for. But the other liquids, like the Ecologel BioPro stuff that I like to use, it comes in like a jug that's like 502, right? Mm-hmm. And the easiest thing to do is just go find a calculator online that you calculate the weight of the bottle, the amount of nitrogen, the amount you're using in there, and then that'll spit out how many pounds per thousand of nitrogen you're using. But if you're doing that, and realistically, if you're looking to apply a lot of nitrogen, don't use a liquid because you'll burn your lawn. Use granular products for that, right? And this is how I think about it. The liquid products are the specialty products, and the low rate. This is for like fertilizers specifically. The low rate fertilizers, like 0.1 pounds of nitrogen or like 0.25 pounds of nitrogen per thousand. Yeah. Right. And that's as high as I'd go in a liquid is 0.25 pounds of nitrogen.
It's good for spoon feeding. If you want to take the spoon feeding approach, you can use the liquids and put them down every 2-3 weeks, whatever it may be, versus your granular that you're going to put down every 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, but don't go spraying a pound of nitrogen per 1,000 with 20, triple 20. You'll burn the hell out of your lawn. Kill it.
All right, guys. So Ole's ready to give away this MicroLife thing. So let's jump over to the screen here. All right. So if you guys will take a look at the center of that wheel, shout out to Cody, Meister by Lawn, created this logo. He's turned it into a sticker. As you guys have seen, some of us have been posting about it. So if you guys are interested and want a grab a glass, keep off the grass sticker, message us either on the KOTG Keep Off the Grass Instagram page or reach out to us separately. We all have a handful or so that we can give out to you guys. But shout out to Cody and Brent. Weren't able to make it on tonight, but we got 31 entries, Olee, that want to try this.
You guys are missing the It's Mow Time sticker in there.
What's that?
You said you guys are missing the It's Mow Time logo in there.
Yeah, you got to get those out, man.
I was gonna say, man, I want one.
Yeah.
All right.
Just gonna squeeze past you and mow here.
All right, we're gonna shuffle 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here we go, Olee.
Go. Oh,
Is Homestead in here? Because if he is, we got to remove him.
Hey-o. All right. Backyard barber.
Hey-o.
yeah.
Love it.
Nice.
Congrats.
I say we remove him, spin one more time.
You want to do another one?
Hell yeah, let's
right.
go for it.
Oh, shit.
Bonus spin.
Is my name in there?
Yeah.
Better be.
Oh, no music. Go Hawks.
Yeah. He's nuts.
For the boat.
Ooh, Drew.
Boom.
Tori's in there.
Dang.
Nice. Congrats.
He just won something, didn't he?
Yeah, he won something a few episodes ago from us.
Nice.
Yeah.
So awesome. Congrats, guys.
Get that molasses spread.
I'm doing that this week. I can't wait.
Sticky.
You're all about the molasses, Olee.
I gotta try it, man.
If no one hasn't tried the molasses thing, you guys are missing out, man. We used to
Hey, Olee, I know you were going to use it for, you were saying like your dead seed heads. Mine actually have disappeared within like past few weeks. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still like, I mean, I still
That's
have
gone.
some.
That's
Is that
gone.
gone?
But what happened here, sorry to cut you off. It got so hot and dry. And this is something different that I've learned this year. You know, like y'all Lawntism or not Lawntism, but actually I think Gigglebox there was poking fun at me about water. And but it got so hot and dry here that it actually got a different type of stress. So when we did get that rain, I got gray leaf spot, just bop. I mean, it jumped on. And so I was going to spray that molasses last Saturday. And sort of glad I didn't, because now I got a new approach to the way I'm going to go about it. But I went ahead and got down my Clary's 3336 for the gray leaf spot. And it's already looking better already. But anyway, it got so stressed out, I guess. I guess once it gets stressed out, it's already getting its butt kicked. And then the water comes and, you know, then the disease just jumps on it. You know, it gets sick and then it just jumps on it. But what I'm going to do now is basically going to make this same formula, but instead of these little bottles, mine come in some big jugs. I'm going to mix it. This is a 2-to-1 ratio of molasses to humic and fulvic. But I'm going to take a 40-pound bag of that humates they got that has a bunch of fungi and a bunch of stuff in it.
mycorrhiza.
Yeah, it's got a ton of stuff. I can't even tell you without looking at the bag, but I'm going to take it. And this idea come from Meister Soil. I'm going to take that stuff and I'm going to soak it overnight in water, stir it ever so often. Then I'm going to strain it and I'm going to put it in a permagreen and spray it. So I'm gonna try to get some like major dethatch action going on to clean up some of this stuff from the brown patch and from the leaf spot.
So you're basically
Nice.
making lawn kombucha.
I don't know what, you know. When my granddad was living, he'd cook us some stuff, and he always called it double double D. So I guess I'm making some double double D out of liquid.
Yeah, you get some Birkenstocks and.
But I'm
I'm
looking forward to that because a lot of people take some molasses and humic, and then they'll take a real dark beer and they'll mix them up their own homemade dethatch. I was talking with him and I was asking him, say, hey, I'm gonna spray this. I want to dump a beer in here. He's like, don't waste your beer. Take that bag and soak it. And then after you soak it, and I started telling him about these. I bought a bunch of strainers for the top of 5-gallon buckets in different micro sizes. So I'm gonna take and soak this stuff, the granular, try to dissolve it, stir it ever so often, and I'm gonna take and strain it out and basically gonna make like a tea. And so hopefully it's gonna set some stuff on fire. Maybe I can finally get some good stripe pictures of this place.
Yeah, that'd be nice, Olee, if you could finally get some good looking stripes. Yeah, that would be nice.
I know, man. Color just ain't been there this year.
Man.
The straight up nostalgia of failing chemistry class in high school.
Man, I hated school so bad, and if I could go back, I'd have paid attention about biology and all kind of good stuff. The only thing I could do when I was in school was I could add, 1 + 1, and then I could go into bricklaying class and I could lay some brick, and I was happy, and then I wanted to go home.
And I got a quick story, man. When I was at Iowa State, my freshman year, some guy told me that he was in the landscape architecture program and studying horticulture. And at 18 years old, I remember I was like, man, so what do you want to do? You want to mow lawns? And now I'm like, shit, I should have been in that program.
I majored in.
Yes, sir.
That's what I majored in.
You never know what you're going to do. You don't know.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap this up. This has been an awesome talk about spreaders and sprayers. Appreciate all you guys in the live chat chiming in and helping us get on with this episode 28. So appreciate you guys. And we will see you guys next week.
Y'all hit me up with some addresses.
Thanks for having me, boys. It's been fun.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for jumping on, Chris.
Got you, man?